for the house, and a few of them still have the bark on, which isn't a big deal. We'll just knock that off when we go to place it in the wall. We also have to take off some slivers of wood and stuff that happen when you split it, like this kind of thing. And also, if there's a knot or whatever, we'll have to knock that off. So each piece will probably have to be fine-tuned before we put it in the wall. But we're splitting them a bunch of different sizes. So we have, you know, some firewood sizes, and then we have a couple larger ones. And again, here's the little slivers that we'll have to peel off and clean up. But I'm just splitting it here, and then we'll stack this, and then split again a pile, and keep going. It's going to take a while. The splitting goes pretty quickly, though. I would say I could split probably about 4 or 5 10, 12-foot logs in an hour. It shouldn't be too bad. And a couple of the smaller logs I'm going to leave and not split at all. I'll just leave them as rounds. Because again, the wall will sort of look like this with mortar in between it, but as long as you have a random pattern and a couple rounds interspersed in there, it'll look pretty good. So it'll be about 80% split and 20% rounds. But I want to keep the rounds smaller. The smaller they are, the primary check that'll happen after it dries. There'll be one crack that goes to the center. And the smaller the log, the smaller the crack will be. So if I use some real big rounds, that'll be a big crack. It'll be more chance for, you know, air infiltration in there and stuff like that. You'd have to caulk that big crack, or use log chinking or whatever. But this is about the size that I want to keep for the rounds. Nothing more than that. So it's labor intensive, but none of it's too hard of work. It's just time consuming. She's getting peeling the last of, some logs didn't get peeled all the way because they were laying on the ground a certain way. But we have to get that off, otherwise the bugs will get in. We bucked up a bunch. And again, I had this completely filled with discs all in here. And there was a few out here. And I did all that in an hour. So this is all in an hour. This is the wood we'll use for our sauna. We'll build that first. This will have to dry for at least a year, and that wood will be used for the house. The splitter's acting up a little bit. When it splits, it comes forward, but it doesn't retract. So I'll have to take this off and screw with it a little bit. It's not a big deal. Using it right now, I want to keep going, but I fixed it before. So that amount we had split, that's what it looks like stacked. That's 5 rows, but we gotta go up higher. But I also put in these little braces across here. I did them so they're removable. I just drilled a big hole and put nails in, and then I just hung the boards. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna have to adjust these front ones, because what I did, these front ones I'm gonna have to lift up. Because here I made a 2x4, so there's a notches right here. 1, 2, and then there's a notch on the top. So if we come over here, you can see it better. 1, 2, 3 notches, and that is level with that log. So what I'm going to do is cut a log and put a little half moon notch here so it'll rest in here, and then on this side it'll be like a tenon, I think it's called, mortise or tenon, and then that'll slide up inside this. So these front ones will be removable, but they'll also look good because they'll look like the log, and they'll be removable because then we can get in here or whatever. I don't want to make them permanent because I think that might get in our way after a while. And then these center ones, they don't have to look real pretty, plus they're spanning 14 feet, so those will help when you stack the wood and separate this, because in the end I don't think we're going to need this much space for all the wood. And I'm also going to build a wood shed by the pond cabin, so I would like this one kind of stall open for keeping the log splitter and whatever else we do. I might make an outdoor kitchen here someday, who knows. What do you think about that, honey?
So many options.
So many projects.
Options open, and you have to split me more wood.
Yeah, so we're gonna start splitting this so we can keep going. And a little baby, not a baby bird, a little white-throated sparrow hit the window. We thought we'd give him time to wake up, but he unfortunately is not gonna wake up.
They were actually fighting,
or chasing each other, mating, who knows. Ran right into the window. All right. Okay, this is super weird. So I went out to go to the bathroom, and I look up, and then I see a satellite, and right behind it is another satellite. And then behind that one is another satellite. And on and on. There's been over 15 or more. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I don't think so. How many has there been? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
There goes another one.
14.
Intersecting in that T again, where that last one just went. Another one's coming across from the east.
Oh yeah. 14, 15. There's another one, 16. Okay, that is weird. That is weird. So there's, you've seen a satellite in the sky that goes across. It looks like a star moving. Well, there's one after the other, after the other, after the other. And they're all evenly spaced.
And they're close.
And they're all very close together. And they're all exactly going in the same direction.
And then there's been 2 now that intersect almost.
That is super weird. Weird. Okay, we gotta check it out. I can't get it on camera, but I'll let you know. Aliens. I don't know if the video is catching this, but there's been over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's been over 30 satellites.
What's the spacings between them, and how many seconds? So this one's going over our heads now.
Well, every 20 seconds. There's got to be a explanation for this. Really weird. Over 30 satellites directly in line. We saw 2 cross them, which is whatever. And then two more that were not in line but going in the same direction. But I would say over 30, 40 satellites directly in line every 15 to 20 seconds. You know, they were totally evenly spaced, but depending on, you know, if you put your watch to it, it would have been exactly the same number. What do you think, hon?
I think we're at war. It's retaliation. Either that or it's an attack from aliens.
The only thing I can think of is that the sun is just right, and we don't see these satellites normally because we had that weird sun thing, which I'll show, which you saw before this video. I don't know, maybe the sun, the sky cleared up just right, and the sun is just in reflecting the light off of them. But I saw I can count 8 satellites at one time in the sky, and 6 of them are in line going across, and then you count like 3 other ones going in different directions. But that's not the other 40 that have passed in that exact same line. So yeah, the only thing I can think is that the sun was in the right position, or the conditions were right, and it was reflecting off these satellites. I know there's, like I said, a ton of satellites in the sky. I don't know how many there are, thousands. But obviously there's one orbit that has a ton of them, and they were like closer than I've ever seen before. So the sun must have been in a right position where it was reflecting off those low ones. And anyway, that's what I'm going with until I Google it and there's aliens coming. But never seen that before. Really weird.